Hi everyone, so this is going to be a second video on landscapes. So we started off doing more of a direct painting. We looked at doing like 1, 2, 3 marks using our colour theory. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on top of those, and we're going to look at ways that we can develop those into, because some people, and it is like that way of doing it is quite abstract, so we're going to try and make it a little less abstract and develop it more that way. I'll give a few more techniques. So I'll just move my camera and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so what we're going to do is work off the same image I used last time. So again, I'm just going to pick a little bit more of that section out that I was working from. And what I'm going to try and do on these pieces now that I've done is look at building up the contrast and putting a bit more light into it. So that's what I'm going to be working from. So I put that there. And so these are ones that we did, just using those 3 marks, the yellow, the red and the blue. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just choose one now, this one, the red one, to work on top of. So stuck it down, and what I've got is I've got some water, using acrylics. So for acrylics I am just going to use my primaries, as you can see them, blue, red, yellow, and some white. And then I've got these brushes, really short bristle brushes. Now if you've got some that are a little bit worn like that, all the better for what we're going to do now. So let's crack on. So what we are going to do is look at how we can make this a little less abstract by looking at our image here and working from that. So I'm just going to pop that up in front of me there, and then you can see what I'm doing here. Yep. So again, we've worked quite broad, so now we're going to work a little bit smaller brush marks. Just a little bit of water on my brush, not too much. I'm just going to dampen it off there. So again, I've got my tea towel, because when you work on top of acrylics with acrylics, if you use too much water, it kind of, if you know the acrylics is well dried, if you use too much water, it kind of washes off a little bit. Yeah, so we're going to keep it nice and dry, and we're going to use a scumble. A scumble is a really dry brush, so I'm just going to put a little bit on my brush. I'm going to start off with white, so you can see it here, and I'm just going to spray my brush a bit like that, just dab it. So I've got very little on my brush, because the idea of doing the scumble, the dry brush, is that if I go over another layer here, like, let me just dab it on, yeah, put it over that red. The idea is it's still going to see the underpainting coming through. Yeah, you don't want to paint over it. What you want to do is, again, this is all about building depth up. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to brush it in. So I'm taking down the colour a little bit there, but I'm also allowing the undercolour to come through, so it's nice and dry. Yep, so let's just try again. A little bit paint on your brush. No, don't add any more water yet, it's nice and dry. And let's think about taking some of this red down here. So dab it on where you want it to go, and you're just going to rub it in. So again, it's taking the colour down a little bit, but it's also, you can see it. So I'm going to do a little bit more of that. Just my white initially, up here in the sky. So I'm going to dab it on, come down to that red a little bit, and then I'm going to dry it, rub it in. So that's why I said you're going to work just a little bit smaller, area wise, you know, your brush is going to be a little bit small. So I'm going to dab it on and then rub it in. I think the key is, when you're doing this, the scumble, is not to put too much paint on your brush. So you get to keep bits when you do this that you really like, and then the bits that you don't think work so well, that's the bit you can kind of develop onto it. As well. Yeah, let's just do a little bit more there. Bring that down a wee bit there. So because I'm using it so light and it's going over the other colour, Yeah, it's not white. Yeah, you can see there that it's just taken some of that colour down. Because then what I'm doing by doing this dry brush, like glazing they call it, is allowing some of the other colours like these, emphasise these coming through. Like I'll want to leave that, I really like that at the back, I like that red coming through in places, but maybe I don't want it as much red in all the other places. So let's think about just taking that bit down a bit there. So again, I've just, see, as soon as you take that down, that kind of stands out a little bit more. Just a nice little lays over. And then, because I've used red and green, I'm going to stick to red and green, and I'm just going to clean that brush off and let it to dry. And I'm going to go for like a flat brush here, add a bit of water on it, again just damp, and I'm going to mix a green. And again, I'm going to try and add to this, so brush quite dry again, so the paint's quite thin. And what I'm going to do is use my brush strokes a little bit more in a different way, in terms of come across a little bit, but see how thin it is as well, so you can still see that under one coming through, yeah. But then I'm just moving my brush a little bit like that, just around. I'm going to come over that red here. So again, I'm taking that red down so it's not as vibrant, so the other places it'll emphasise it. And then come across there. So I want to keep that, I like these lines going on here, I want to add some more over here. So again, get a little bit on my brush and just dab it in. So I'm doing sort of like little marks with it. But again, because the paint's so thin, I'm allowing the underpaint to come through. So a little bit of green, then I'm going to add a bit more red to that. See if I can kind of emphasise some of that foreground. So I'm just using little bits because you don't want to overpower the painting. You might see that doing a little bit of that red up there as well. So again, I'm just kind of moving it around, break that up a little bit there. So I'm kind of smudging it in each time so I can build up that depth a little bit. Now I'm not so sure about this mark here. I like some of it but not all of it. So what I'm going to do, wash that brush, dry off, get another kind of brush that's got a little bit of a splay to it. Make sure it's a bit dry as well. Still wet. And I'm going to get some white on it, and then I'm going to sort of like stipple on top there. So again, the brush is damp but it's not wet, so the paint won't come off, won't slide it. So I'm just going to then add some texture to it, because another way is this, what we call this weight of line, is trying to develop this nice kind of smooth line you've got here, and then to put a little bit of texture on it as well. And if you put texture on, like if I put the texture on, which is just dabbing, a bit of stippling, you also allow things to look like they're coming forward a little bit more, because you can see the texture of it. So let's go over here with that. So again, still quite light because you still want to build up that layers of the undercolour coming through. See if we can just soften that one a bit. You've got a nice kind of bit of cloud happening there, a bit of light coming out. So if there's light there, there's going to be kind of light here. So I'm just going to do a little bit more of the stippling, just to get rid of some of that line there a little bit. So you can still see it, but it's not as dominant. again, a bit more stippling. You can see these lines there, I like them. I want to keep them. So like I said, we don't want to kind of go over all of it. What we want to do is just give it a little bit more of a landscape feel. So now I've brought it down a little bit. So I've got this nice red coming forward, echoing that, so it looks like there's some movement as well. I'm going to wash my brush, because that's the thing with acrylics, you have to kind of wash in between, otherwise if you let them dry on your brush, it's a bit, where's your brush? So let me get this flat one again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix slightly stronger green. And then on my picture here, there's a nice kind of lines that come across. So I'm just going to, again, build up that contrast by making it a different weight of line. So I'm just going to come across. And also, it's a little bit darker colour. And again, my brush was just damp. It's not... you don't want to paint too wet. And if you can see, I'm just putting like a minute bit of paint on my brush, because again, I don't want to overload it. I want to emphasise bits. I don't want you know, to have too much paint, then I kind of get rid of some of those lovely marks that I've done. So that comes across there a little bit. Something that comes across. Smudge that down a wee bit. So again, the way I work is I try and echo what's happening in the sky and what's happening here as well, yeah. So I'm just going a bit more red on my brush. To make that green. And then I can do a similar kind of thing here with that bit that comes forward there. Nice dry brush. And again, I'm just going to use that brush on the flat and bring some of those. So I'm looking at this different weights, and it comes from over that as well. Different marks and different weights of your brush, from, you know, a little bit of this bit to some lines coming across. Breaking up, like on my picture, I'm kind of breaking up some of those bits there that they have as well. Again, looking at this different kind of weight and mark, making some drives and coming across. So again, you're building up that depth. So this now is too similar a tone. So again, I'm just going to, a little bit of white, I'm going to break that down a little bit. Get a bit of that nice green so it gets a bit grey with the white. Just take that down a wee bit. Yep, so then you've got this nice bit of more red and that bit. So again, how I'm working it is using quite small brush marks. I want to put some of that red up here. And then what I'm going to do is wash that brush, get it off to be dry. I'm going to go back to one of my older brushes. It's a little bit splay, dry it off a wee bit. It's a bit damp, and then I'm going to again go work back into these and just soften it with a bit of white. Just kind of soften some of that edge off there. So again, you're looking at the tone, the light and dark, so you've got that kind of build up. Just soften that there, I think. Break up that line there a little bit. And then I'm going to come down and just soften, put a bit more light, soften some of those edges. So just softened up a little bit, and then this is what I'm just going to keep doing. Go from each brush and just keep working, adding little bits to it, like another green. Maybe build up this side a wee bit. Look at my picture. It's about building that bit up. Again, I'm just going to use my brush quite dry and come across here. Build up that contrast so you've got this light coming in. I'm going to echo that up here a little bit as well, but instead of doing that with this one in the sky, I'm going to dab a little bit there. Just to again echo those colours. I'm going to add to that in a minute. And with a bit of red to that. And that foreground bit there. So by adding that red to that green, it gives me a kind of purple colour, which is again extending your palette, but you're still using your blue and green. It just extends it a little bit. It's again quite dry, so you get this nice kind of texture going on as well. So again, because I wanted to emphasise the light coming through as on the picture, I'm just coming off the sides. So what I'm doing is mixing a little bit of the flat brush. So again, you look at that weight of line. I'll wash out with more of the softer kind of scumble brush. So I'm going to do a bit of white with a little bit of red, just to then work on this green here. Take that down a little bit, so it's a little bit softer. Gives it more, if you do it that soft, it gives it more of a cloud feel to it, doesn't it? So, and that's what I'm just going to keep doing. Now that little line there was hardly anything when I did the 1, 2, 3, but now look at it, it looks like a really nice kind of like reflection coming off, yeah. And same with that line there. So that's like, if you work with the 1, 2, 3, you get these, okay, quite accidental marks, but then if you work around them like I'm doing here, you can then begin to emphasise them and become part of the picture here. So if I look on that, they represent these and that light coming through here. So, you know, it's a way of working that you have to develop. You have to kind of keep giving it a go. Yeah, I'm going to show you. So that's it. Just kind of keep working at it and use your brush. Like I said, nice dry brush. Don't overpaint it. Use it quite thin so you can see the underpainting coming through. Yeah, so if I want to put some on there, and just scumble it down, bit of dry brush on, dab it on, and then scumble it in. And the scumble, the dry brush scumble, is about seeing the underpainting coming through. So again, just keep doing a little bit of that, and then going on with a little bit of the flat brush, and think about the weights of lines. So keep early areas like that which are quite smooth, build up a little bit of texture. You know, you want to keep this, and that reads quite nicely, and then you've got a bit of red here, so you kind of got this movement going on, and you've got this light coming through, which is what I was trying to get at. I'm going to show you some more that I've done. So this is working on the blue background. See there? This lovely marks at the back. See if I can get it close to you. There's lovely marks at the back that I wanted to keep, and then I've just kind of worked around it as well. And then this is working on the yellow one. Again, kept these really nice initial marks that I've done. Yeah, and then just built it up again. So it's quite a nice landscape there, yeah. So hopefully that was of some use. So again, it is a technique that starts off quite abstract, but it's about just giving us a start and then develop it from there, yeah. So look after yourselves, and I look forward to seeing what you've been doing. Thanks very much. See ya.